all
Okay.
those.
Nah, you didn't need to see this part. So when you go in, because we're going to go into the rooms a couple of times tonight. Thank you, Jennifer. I love you for even remembering, because obviously I'm gone. When you go into the room tonight, I want you to discuss this, and you need to talk about, you have 2 opening intentions, Stephen. And you need to take a long beat between them both. Whereas Roxana, you just need to keep on talking.
Okay.
Because you got to get through this.
Yeah, because in the thing, it says I have a list. So I'm checking off my list. Like, I'm just
Which I loved.
Sure I'm done with this.
I loved that. And, you know, Stephen, even if you had like a little briefcase or something, you know, that you slap down, something, you know, and come in with that gusto, you know, maybe if I just see you sitting down, well, here's what happened. You don't even say, hi, babe. There's no kissing. There's nothing. I need to see that coldness right off the bat.
Okay.
You guys need to discuss it and where it ends.
Okay.
Stephen, I think it's very interesting, that last line still. Would you like me to call you a cab? There's something very cold about that. I don't know why. In other words, you're telling her she's got to get out right now. Do you know? Roxana may have been saying it's over, it's done with, you know, maybe she's going to say to you in the next, you know, and I'll be leaving by the end of the weekend. You're not even letting her do that. You're saying, would you like me to call you a cab? Dead cold. As in, you better leave right now. Big change there. Big objective and intention change for you, Stephen.
Okay.
And I need to see it hit you, Roxana. Tonight, I want to see action, reaction, reaction, action. Stephen, you have to do things to make Roxana react. Roxana got to do things to make Stephen react.
Okay.
Got it? Okay, let's bring up my next group. Jennifer. And Jennifer's doing it with Sir Dan Dan.
Sir Dan Dan.
And we're doing the same script, right?
Yes, but I wouldn't think of it that way.
Okay. I'll just make sure I have the right one and not the one that you sent.
Yeah, well, you're going to do that script too. We're going to switch around scripts.
Oh, okay.
But now there's an age difference here. So use it. Use it, Jennifer. Use it, Danny.
Okay. I thought you might just like to know that at 5:15 this afternoon, we were officially handed the Fire and Ice account by Revlon.
Ted, I'm leaving you.
That represents a gross billing in excess of $2 million. What?
Here are my keys.
Guys, can I stop you again? I think I'd like to try it one way. Danny, don't even stop between the first and the second paragraph.
But there was a pause. I have to wait for her to say, Ted,
no. Jennifer,
oh, okay.
You're going to have to get it in there.
Okay.
Let's just see what happens. Let's play with it for a second. Okay, let's see what happens.
Okay, all right. I thought you might just like to know that at 5:15 this afternoon, we were officially handed the Fire and Ice account by Revlon. That represents a gross
Ted
billing in excess of $2 million. What?
Here are my keys. I won't be needing them anymore.
I'm sorry I'm late, all right? I'm sorry I didn't call. I was busy making a living.
Here's my American Express and my Bloomingdale's credit card and my checkbook.
Okay, okay. What did I do this time? What did I do now? What is
I took $2,000 out of the savings account because that's what I had in there when we got married. And
Joanna, whatever it is, believe me, I'm sorry.
And here are the slips for the laundry and the cleaning. Those will be ready on Saturday.
Now listen, before you do something you really regret, you better stop and think about the...
Okay, I paid the rent the Con Ed, and the phone bill. So you're not going to have to worry about any of those. And I think that's everything.
For God's sake, Joanna, would you at least tell me what I did that's so terrible? Would you at least do me that little favor?
Look, it's not your fault, okay? It's me. It's my fault. You just married the wrong person.
So we got problems. Everyone has problems. That's
Ted,
normal.
you're not listening to me, okay? It's over, finished.
I'm listening, Joanna. Believe me, I'm listening. My wife is walking out on me after 8 years.
You just don't get it, do you? Okay, I really and truly am leaving you.
I heard you, Joanna. I promise. I heard you.
No, you didn't. And you didn't even ask about Billy.
What about Billy?
I'm not taking him with me.
What?
Ted, I can't. Okay, I tried. I really tried, and I just can't hack it anymore.
Come on, Joanna, you don't mean that. You're a terrific mother.
I'm not. I'm not, though. I'm a terrible mother. I'm an awful mother. I yell at him all the time, and I have no patience. None. He's better off without me. Okay, Ted, I've got to go. I've just got to go.
Okay, I understand, and I promise I won't try to stop you. But you can't just go. Look, come inside and talk, just for a few minutes.
No, just please don't make me stay, okay? I swear if you do, sooner or later, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe a year from now, I'll just go right out that window, okay?
Where are you going?
I don't know. Don't know.
Do you want me to help you get a cab? Joanna! Joanna!
You know, really nice. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about this the second time. Totally different from Stephen and Roxy. And Stephen, if you're looking and listening to this, I may have given you the wrong direction on your last line. Would you like me to call you a cab? I think maybe you say that to the air. Stephen, are you there?
I'm here.
You know, it's almost like she leaves and you're like, would you like me to call you a cab? She's gone already.
Okay.
It's a thought. Now, this is really interesting the way you guys did it. Really liked it. Danny, I think that you just keep talking. She's got to interrupt you. It was so much better.
I liked that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So, and then you got to do it again before she says you're not listening. Do you understand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For your character. Because you weren't listening. Great opening. That opening really worked for you guys. Jennifer, when you say, Danny, when you say to Jennifer, and I think this will really work with Jennifer's age, Danny, you're almost saying this to placate her. What did I do this time? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going to piss Jennifer off. And it's going to give her something to work off of, like, oh, she's young. What did I do this time? Like she's complained all this time when she really hasn't. But that's how you feel.
Right.
Danny. So that's a note. You don't have to do it, you guys. I'm just giving you notes.
Okay.
Danny, again, you're placating her and kind of putting her down like she's childless when you say, don't do something you're gonna regret.
Yeah.
Boy, if you, in a way, I think you should kind of talk down to her. She's younger. You know, she's the candy on your arm. You're going to regret this. How are you going to live? Who's going to take care of you? Daddy's not going to be around. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's going to really work for Jennifer, which is going to get her even more And then Jennifer will help when she goes, you're not listening again.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not.
All right.
You're just treating her like you always treat her.
Yeah, I don't think I really think she's leaving until later on in the script either.
All right. That's a really, again, that's a great thing to work with, Danny.
Yeah, I kind of felt that too.
Yeah, but do it more. Do it more in your voice, Danny. We got to get you out of monotone land here. What did I do again? What seems to be the problem? Okay, maybe exaggerate it a little bit. Just, I can always calm you down. Jennifer, big beat. You didn't even ask about Billy.
Okay.
Again, I prove my friggin' point. She's proven her point. It's all about him. He doesn't even ask about his son.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
And Jennifer, I would choose you're a woman on the verge of hysteria.
Okay.
I got that from you. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't do it, but I think that when you're saying I just might jump out of the window, I think at that point you really are a woman on the verge of hysteria. And I think
I just can't do it anymore. Got it.
Oh yeah. And I think you should leave. And Danny, I think you should say almost vacantly, you're not talking to her anymore. Would you like me to call you a cab? Do you know what I mean? She's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that feel good for you guys? These again are little notes, but I want us to work on action, reaction, action, reaction. You say things that, because this is life. I picked these things because I wanted some life stuff. When people talk to each other in this kind of intensity, we're firecrackers. We say one thing that just pisses the other person off. So they say another thing and another thing and another thing. And it's just action, reaction, action, reaction. Do you know what I mean? It's like yapping dogs.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's bring Kenny up. I'm sorry that someone just keeps texting me. And Marco's not coming. Just want to make sure. All right, no. Just a minute. Hold on, I'm so sorry. I'll call you tomorrow. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Kenneth, turn on your mic. I'm so sorry you feel bad, Kenneth.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is the worst month ever.
I know, sweetheart. You really need to stop the drinking of the Coke, and you need to sleep as much as you can. And
oh my God, I slept the whole January.
Well,
that's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, I've been sleeping a lot too. You've got it. You might just have a part of COVID or part of the flu, but whatever it is, you got to stop drinking the Coke. and substitute it with lemon juice or whatever. I know. Here we go.
Which one am I?
You pick, Ken.
I'll
Up
be
to you.
Stanley.
Okay. This is extremely unusual, Mr. Ipkiss. Barging in without an appointment, or at least calling ahead, is not okay.
How come I don't see what you're saying?
What's wrong, Kenny?
I don't see it. What he's saying, I don't see it in my script. So I'm wondering, is this a mask too, Stanley? Is that the script?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the first line you see?
First line says, this is extremely unusual, Mr. Gibbs, bragging in without appointments or...
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. Because you say it's not okay. So I was looking...
Well, you were supposed to cut me off, so I just kept going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, you're a big expert on masks, right? Well, I've got an emergency here.
Try to calm yourself. Now, this woman you were telling me about, I'm not sure I understand the problem.
I've got a date with the girl of my dreams. Only she doesn't know it's me. It's this thing.
Very interesting. Looks like 10th or 11th century Scandinavian. Where did you get this?
I found it or it found me. I'm not sure. The problem is it's running my life.
So you believe this actually changes you into a different person?
Yes. It's turning me into some kind of a lunatic.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. This is just obsessed delusion. This is just obsessional delusion. What you have here is nothing more than a piece of wood.
But your book says masks.
My book uses masks as a metaphor for our complex personalities. The masks we must present to the outside world to suppress the id, to protect our innermost desires.
Yeah, well, this one works in reverse.
You're going to have to be willing to work on this illusion, or it's going to take you over.
It's not a delusion, all right? I'll prove it to you if I have to, but I won't be responsible for the consequences.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. There is no such thing as a magical mask.
Last chance to hide all dangerous objects.
All right, then. Go on. You're not going to frighten me.
Whoa.
Whoa. What?
It didn't work.
Does that surprise you? The mask is nothing but a reflection of you, the inner you.
It worked last night and the night before. Maybe it works at night. What kind of mask did you say this was?
Scandinavian. It looks like a representation of Loki, the Norse god of mischief. He supposedly caused so much trouble that Odin banished him from Valhalla forever.
What if he banished him into the mask?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ipkiss, we are out of time.
But what should I do about my date?
Your date?
You know, tonight, the park. Tina, do I go as myself or the mask?
Mr. Ipkiss, please. Haven't you been listening to anything I've been saying? Go as yourself and as the mask, because they are one and the same beautiful person.
See?
Okay, well, Kenny, you were having a hard time reading this.
Yeah, kind of very small.
Can you print it out?
I can. I don't have a printer.
Can you outline it and make it bolder?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change it to font.
Yeah, because it really was a terrible cold read for you.
Oh.
You couldn't read it. You were leaning in. It was very difficult. So let me just tell you something before we start. Masks. You know, I, for years, have done mask ceremonies at the Whole Life Expos, which they're just starting again this coming week, the 4th. Mask work is unbelievable, you guys. Putting a mask on your face will change your personality. Unbelievable. It brings out whatever it needs to bring out. It's just like animal people. If you give your instincts to the mask, what comes out is pretty amazing. This particular movie, although it was hysterically funny, had a lot of truth to it. A tremendous, somebody who wrote it knew what they were talking about, believe it or not. So as an expert, Andy, you didn't seem concerned at all for him, even at the beginning. So I need to see some concern, the fact that he's just raced into your office, and I know you're trying to teach him, but you're also concerned. There's something wrong. Kenneth, it's hard for me to give you notes because you were just really cold reading. But I think you have to be I think you have to talk almost as fast as you talk when you're Loki with the mask on.
Okay.
That makes sense? No, there's something going on. I'm telling you, there's a girl I'm supposed to meet tonight. I think you're very shy. You work well with animals and things like that, but not real people. You're terrible about real people, you know, and you're nervous about going to this event with her. I can't remember what the event is, but I know you're nervous about it.
The date, a date with a girl.
Is it just a date, or are you taking her to a party? Are you meeting her at a party?
I think it's a park. Is it? He said, "The day. What am I supposed to do about my date? You know, the park, Tina." So I would assume they're gonna meet in the park, and.
Well, that's pretty weird, meeting someone in a park. Well, is it nighttime or daytime that you're supposed to meet her?
Tonight, right? So that's nighttime. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird right off the bat. Andy, you got to react to that one. Who meets a girl? Isn't this in New York?
I believe so. I remember.
So who meets a girl in New York at night in a park? Right off the bat, that's really weird. You know
I did one time.
about? Yeah. So she ain't just a regular kind of girl. There's something going on here that the therapist might want to catch real quick. Like, huh? What's going on in a park? And Kenneth, you don't even want to try and explain it. You're just, all you want is a fix. Just fix me. Fix me. I'm so scared. I want to be a normal person. Fix me. Fix me. And what is this mask doing to me? There's got to be a huge beat, Kenneth, when the mask doesn't work.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I've gone on television as a psychic several times, and whatever power I had went bye-bye, bye-bye. You're not supposed to be on TV doing intuitive work. Bye-bye. And that's just what the mask has done. So, Kenneth, let me show you. I think it would be really interesting for you to pick up the mask like this. Okay. See how I've got my hands over like this? Pick it up like this. Take it up like this. Do it with me. Slide it down. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but do it slowly for you. Just you put it on. It's not happening. Do you understand? And then see you take it off. It's not happening. It happened last night. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to slowly put it on and take it off. And in mime, it's just a chunka. You go chunk, chunk, boom, chunk. Okay, put it back on. Chunk. It happened last night. Just to let us know it's not working.
Okay.
Any way you do it is fine, but you got to show us. And then there's a beat where you get all confused. Why would it work last night but not tonight? Because you have to help him, Andy, get to the therapy part. This is and this is what the masks do. And then, Kenneth, you've got to be really into it. What kind of mask is it then? See, much more enthusiasm.
Okay.
I know you're reading it. All right, I'm going to put you guys into rooms now.
Okay.
Toni, I have a question about one of your notes, if you don't mind. So you mentioned that, when Kenneth says that he has a date tonight in the park, that it seems a little weird. But then my line after he says that, it sounds a little bit encouraging. So, because I'm basically encouraging him to be himself for his date. So how do I kind of square that, the timing and the location of his date is weird?
Let's just think of that. If I said to you, and there might be two different beats going on, Andy. Say to me, I'm meeting a girl tonight in the park, as if I'm the therapist.
Okay. I'm meeting a girl tonight in the park.
Well, that sounds encouraging. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't necessarily feel that's encouraging, but I want to encourage him. Did you see the difference that happened? There was a peak where I thought about that.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, but I want to encourage him. So
I got you. Okay.
So I think there's a moment where you go, what? And then because you want to encourage him, you say something to encourage him. But to me, New York City, meeting a girl in the park, my first instinct as a therapist would be, don't go. Jesus Christ, what are you going, what?
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you guys in breakout rooms. Hold on, give me a second. Please accept them when I give them to you. Like 4, now create. Room 1 will be, room 1 was Danny and Jennifer. Room 2 is Roxana and Stephen. And room 3 is Andy and Kenneth. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Is that enough, you guys? Or do you want 15?
That's good, I think.
Is that okay? Accept your rooms.
Darn it. We were just getting it.
What were you saying?
Oh, wait, there we go.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. So let's bring up Roxana. But you were first, right? Roxana and Danny.
No,
Steven.
no.
Steven.
What? What?
Steven.
Steven.
Stephen, I want you all to watch and see how different the same scenes are, because I want you to see what casting directors go through. It's so really interesting. Okay, here we go. Try and start with activity, guys. I want to see what you're doing, Roxana, a little bit higher.
Okay.
Do it with for camera.
Okay.
I thought you might like to know that at 5:15 this afternoon, we were officially handed the Fire and Ice Camp account by Revlon. That represents a gross of an excess of 2 million. What?
Your piece. I won't be needing them anymore.
I'm sorry I'm late. All right. I was sorry I didn't call. I was busy making a living.
My American Express card. My Bloomingdale's credit card. My checkbook.
Okay. What is it this time? What did I do now?
I took $2,000 out of the savings. Okay, that's what I came into the marriage with. That's what I had in the bank when we got.
Wait a minute.
Whatever it is.
Wait. You guys, your looping is off. You're freezing. Roxana,
No,
you're free.
I'm freezing?
Yeah, when you get too close to the camera, it freezes. And then the looping gets off. And you have to be louder, stopping Stephen with, I'm leaving.
Okay,
You've got to out talk him. Stephen, good entrance. Don't do onomatopoeias. You know.
Okay.
All right, we already see that. All right, here we go. Don't get too close to the camera. Roxy, it freezes you.
Okay, hold on. Let me push this back. Better?
Let me see. Talk.
I'm talking.
Okay, here you go.
Okay, here we go.
I thought you might like to know that at 5:15 this afternoon, we officially handed the Fire and Ice campaign at Revlon. That represents a gross billing of... What?
Here are my keys. I'm not going to be needing them anymore.
I'm sorry I'm late, all right? I'm sorry I didn't call. I was busy making a living.
My American Express card. My Bloomingdale's credit card. My checkbook.
Okay. What is it this time? What did I do now?
$1,000 out of the savings account. Okay, it's what I had in the bank when we got married.
Joanna, whatever it is, believe me, I'm sorry.
Here are the slips for the laundry. Okay, and the cleaning, they'll be ready on Saturday.
All right. Now listen, before you go do something you really regret, you'd better stop and think.
I paid the rent, the Con Ed, and the phone bills, so you don't have to worry about them. And that's everything.
For God's sakes, Joanna, would you at least tell me what I did that's so terrible? Would you do me that little favor?
It's not your fault, okay? It's me. It's my fault. You just married the wrong person.
So we've got problems. Everybody's got problems. That's normal.
Ted, you're not listening to me. It's over. Finished.
I'm listening, Joanna. Believe me, I'm listening. My wife is walking out the door after 8 years of marriage.
You don't get it, do you? I really and truly am leaving you.
I heard you, Joanna. I promise I heard you.
No, you didn't. Didn't even ask about Billy.
What about Billy?
I'm not taking him with me.
What?
Look, Ted, I can't, okay? I tried. I really tried, but I just can't hack it anymore.
Come on, Joanna, you don't mean that. You're a terrific mother.
No, I'm not, okay? I'm a terrible mother. Okay, I'm an awful mother. I yell at him all the time. I have no patience. Look, he's better off without me. Look, Ted, I've got to go, okay? Look, I've got to go.
Okay, I understand and I promise I won't try and stop you, but you can't just go. Look, just come inside and talk. Just
God,
just
no.
for a few minutes.
Please, look, please. Okay, don't make me stay, because I swear, sooner or later, this week, next month, look, I'll jump out the fucking window.
Where are you going?
Look, I don't know.
Do you want me to help you get a cab? Joanna! Joanna!
It was really good. I love your slide away, Roxy, on the floor.
I should have rode the boat away.
It's raining in New York. But the slow slide was really funny. That was great. Come back, everybody. Really good work. Let's talk about this for a second, because we're going to change, but how did you guys like it? Do you see a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw more acting, reacting this time.
How about Roxy and Steven? What were your feelings?
I liked it. What we did, unbeknownst to me, like right away as soon as we got in the room, was we improv'd like I guess it would be like a dinner scene or like if we got lunch earlier and just kind of just really like kind of, she was just asking me questions and I was like being dismissive and just kind of answering and just kind of just like, yeah, whatever, like I don't really care, like all this stuff. And it really helped both. I don't know, I'm sure, I don't know if Roxy felt the same, but it just kind of like helped us settle into like the mind state of our roles and our characters. And I thought it like really helped. I also didn't know it was happening. I was just taking a sip of water and she very coldly was asking me these questions. And I was just like, oh, yeah, like we hopped into it, but it really helped. And
She's
I think it just kind of
one, isn't she?
Yeah, just was not. I was, yeah, just drinking water. I'm confused, but no, it really helped. And I'm Roxy. I'm sure you felt the same, but it was, yeah, it really helped.
Yeah, so that's what I say sometimes when I have you do improv stuff on it. That could be help you really with a before moment, you know, or an event that finalizes things. Do you know what I mean? I am sure that Roxy has been brewing on this much longer than this one night. Do you know what I'm saying? It's always in the, when someone gets angry or pissed, it's always something that happened long before that was never discussed. That's my basic feeling. So any way you as actors can get there is okay. Any way. To do that, I think was brilliant. And I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much. So we're going to go on, we're going to do the other ones, and then we're going to do some other stuff. Okay. So let's bring up the second scene was Jennifer and Danny. Let me just turn myself off here.
This is a bottle of champagne, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Danny.
Yeah. I thought you might just like to know that at 5:15 this afternoon, we were officially handed Fire and Ice account by Revlon. That represents a gross billing in excess of $2 million. What?
Here are my keys. I won't be needing them anymore.
I'm sorry I'm late, all right? I'm sorry I didn't call. I was busy making a living.
American Express, my Bloomingdale's credit card, and my checkbook.
Okay. What did I do this time? What did I do now?
I took $2,000 out of the savings account. That's what I had when we got married.
Joanna, whatever it is, believe me, I'm sorry.
Here are the slips for the laundry and the cleaning. They'll be ready on Saturday. Just don't forget.
Now listen, before you go and do something you'll regret, you better stop.
I paid the rent, the Con Ed, and the phone bill. Okay? You don't have to worry about those. Okay? That's everything.
For God's sake, Joanna, would you at least tell me what it is I did that's so terrible? Would you do me that little favor?
Look, it's not your fault, okay? It's me. It's my fault. You married the wrong person.
So we got problems. Everybody's got problems. That's normal.
Ted, you're not listening to me, okay? It's over. Finished.
I'm listening, Joanna. Believe me, I'm listening. My wife is walking out on me after 8 years.
You just don't get it, do you? I am really and truly leaving you.
I heard you, Joanna. I promise. I heard you.
No, you didn't. You didn't even ask about Billy.
What about Billy?
I'm not taking him with me.
What?
Ted, I can't. I tried. I really, really tried. And I just can't hack it anymore.
Come on, Joanna, you don't mean that. You're a terrific mother. I
am not. I'm a terrible mother. I am an awful mother. I yell at him all the time. I have no patience. No. He's better off without me. Okay? Ted, I've got to go. I need to get out of here.
Okay, I understand, and I promise I won't try to stop you. But you can't just go. Look, come inside and talk. Just for a few minutes.
No, just please don't make me stay. I swear if you do, sooner or later, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe a year from now, I don't know, but I'm gonna go right out that window.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
Do you want me to get you a cab? Joanna.
Very good. Everybody come back. You know what I loved through this whole thing? I loved your dog. Jennifer, through this whole emotional thing, your dog doesn't even wake up.
Yeah, she's like kind of deaf, so I can kind of do whatever I want. She
But
doesn't.
I want you, do you see my dog is also, all three of them are wearing 3 red sweaters, just like your dog. So we must be on the same wavelength here. So that was very different, totally different. Danny, I thought you took all my notes really well. And Jennifer, I thought you took all my notes really well. Only thing I wanted to see from you, Danny, a little bit more was maybe you starting to talk down to her a little bit. Okay. Around the time of my wife is leaving me after 8 years, because that tells me something that it's all about you.
Okay, yeah.
My wife is leaving me after 8 years. You know, nothing about us, but you, it was about you.
Okay, yeah.
Just a thought. I'm being just
no, yeah,
you know, I want you guys to learn how to really break these things apart. So we're going to see one more thing, and then we're going to do something a little different. Okay? So we're going to see Andy and Kenny. Kenny, are you there? Turn on your mic, Kenny. Okay. Were you able to get it bigger print for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I need to see a little bit more light on your face. You're kind of green. All right.
Oh boy. Does it work?
Well, can you do a little bit different angle there? Maybe bounce it.
Yeah. How about this?
There you go. Perfect. Much better.
Okay.
All right. Well, it was better, and now you're wiped out. What did you just do?
Oh, because my hand. Okay, let me see.
Because your hand.
How about this?
Better. There, now we have it. Now we have it.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
This is extremely unusual, Mr. Ipkiss. Barging in without an appointment, or,
Look,
at least...
Look, you're the big expert on masks, right? Well, I've got an emergency here.
Try to calm yourself. Now, this woman you were telling me about, I'm not sure I understand the problem.
I've got a date with this girl, the dream of my life. Only she doesn't know it's me. Well, it's this.
Very interesting. Looks like 10th or 11th century Scandinavian. Where did you get this?
I found it, or it found me. I'm not sure. The problem is, it's running my life.
So you believe this actually changes you into a different person?
Yes. It's turning me into some kind of lunatic.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. This is just obsessional delusion. What you have here is nothing more than a piece of wood.
But your book says masks.
My book uses masks as a metaphor for our complex personalities. The masks we must present to the outside world to suppress the id, to protect our innermost desires.
Well, this one works in reverse.
You're going to have to be willing to work on this delusion, or this
It's not a delusion, all right? I'll prove it to you if I have to, but I won't be responsible for the consequences.
Mr. Ipkiss, please, there is no such thing as a magical mask.
Last chance to hide all the dangerous objects.
All right, then go on. You're not going to frighten me. Whoa, what?
Did it work?
Does that surprise you? The mask is nothing but a reflection of you, the inner you.
It worked last night. And the night before that. Maybe it only works at night. What kind of mask did you say it was?
Scandinavian. It looks like a representation of Loki, the Norse god of mischief. He supposedly caused so much trouble that Odin banished him from Valhalla forever.
What if he banished him into a mask?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ipkiss, we're out of time.
But what should I do about my date?
Your date?
You know, tonight, the park, Tina, do I go as myself or the mask?
Mr. Ipkiss, please. Haven't you been listening to anything I've been saying? Go as yourself and as the mask, because they are both one and the same beautiful person.
Interesting. So did you purposely want to use that onomatopoeia at the end, right, Kenneth? And that's okay. Sometimes onomatopoeias are good.
Uh-huh.
So it didn't bother me. You know, it was interesting. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody come back. What did you feel? First of all, let me ask Andy and Kenneth, how did you guys feel?
I mean, I tried to incorporate your notes, try to be more kind of concerned and understanding and empathetic this time. Also, you know, if I felt like, you know, he was saying something strange, I tried to, take a couple of beats first reacting to the kind of the weirdness or the strangeness he was saying, but then also remembering I'm his doctor and I'm trying to, you know, help him get better.
It dawned on me while you were doing it that I hadn't directed you into something that, you know, just to give you an idea. I think maybe you might start, maybe you would have been a little irritated at the beginning. You know, someone barging into a therapist's room is not cool. It just isn't cool.
Right.
And it would have helped you have a different intention at the beginning from what you had at the end. Because playing a therapist is pretty darn hard. You know, we all want to try and be understanding and helpful, blah, blah, blah. I think that would have been a little helpful, but otherwise I really enjoyed what you did, Andy. Any input from other people on it?
I really liked it too. Yeah, it was a lot more colorful this time, for sure.
Yeah, Kenneth, I liked the character that you were portraying. I almost wanted to see you work with the mask a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Do you know, you like put it up, nothing happens, put it up and try it again, nothing happens. And then you put it up and you do that weird sound, because then it helps Andy go, what is, do you know what I mean? Because he needed a little bit more to say that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
All right. Any other comments, guys? All right, so now we're going to switch. Okay, because I sent this to everybody. So Rocky is going to play the psychologist in Mask to
I don't do I need to print out the other thing because I can't do it on my phone. I have to go print it if you need me to do the other
yeah. Can you go print it? Okay.
Yeah, give me a minute, give me a couple minutes. Hold on.
Okay. Jennifer, you're playing the psychologist with Andy. Andy, you're gonna be the crazy person and Mask. Danny and Stephen. Danny, you're gonna play the therapist. Stephen, you're gonna play the crazy guy, or you can switch. But I kind of wanted to see Stephen play crazy because that's not what Stephen does. Whereas I know Danny can do it. Okay. And Kenny, you will be working with Roxy. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Kenny, wait a minute. Kenny, you've already, okay, I screwed up. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think you're.
Okay. How do I do this? I just did the whole thing and now I've screwed it up. So Roxy and hmm. I think I'm going to send you all a different scene. This isn't going to work. Oh, I'm sorry. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Well, she's already printing out the script too.
No. Hold on. I don't know how to use this thing. I'm telling you. Just won't.
What?
Why is it? I have so much time.
You can just reply all to the previous email you sent, and that'll have all of our email addresses.
I know, but I don't know how to attach. I'm having a hard time attaching it.
You can drag and drop.
I can?
Yeah, you could drag and drop the file from the folder to the email.
Let me see if I can do this. Oh. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just, I'm trying to get this. See, now this, I've lost it. My problem is I just don't know how to do. I don't know how.
You got to go to the right folder.
I don't know where it was now. I'm just going to put this in here and send it to you guys. And then I'm going to send it without a subject. And then I'm going to send, and then I think I'll have enough. Hold on.
What are you, Toni? What is this?
I'm trying to send you another thing.
Oh, wait, so we don't need the mask one?
No, keep the mask one.
Okay.
Do
you need me right now too?
Just keep the mask one, okay? So, did you guys get the new one?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roxy, you're going to do the mask with Stephen.
Oh, okay.
You're going to play the therapist. Danny.
Uh-huh. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kenneth, you're going to do the news scene with Jennifer. Do you guys have it there?
Yeah, it just looks a little bit long, but that's okay.
Just do the first 3 pages.
Okay.
Okay, or 2 pages if that's what you want. And then that leaves me Danny and Stephen.
No, Danny and me.
No, I'm with Roxanne.
You're with Roxanne. And so it leaves Andy and Danny. Andy, you did this scene already, so you're going to be the crazy guy. Danny,
Okay.
you're going to be the therapist.
Okay. I got to get back now. I am. So, just give me a second.
Somehow it wasn't as organized as I thought it would be. Sorry, guys. Usually I'm a little more organized than this. So what I want you to do now is we're going to do a cold read. All right. And then I'll put you back in the rooms. You'll work on it. And then you'll do it for me as the final. All right. This will help you learn how to do quick cold reads and to make quick decisions when you're called into an audition. All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So who would like to go first? All right, Roxana. And you're doing this with?
Steven.
Okay.
Oh, shit. They're going first? Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Didn't Stephen, weren't you working with somebody else?
No.
You're playing the crazy guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Just want to.
Take your time.
Okay.
This is a bit of a stretch for you, Stephen, but I want you to really go for it.
So really go for it. Okay.
Really, really go for it.
I actually really like this movie and watched it not that long ago. So
It's a brilliant movie. It's a brilliant
I could do
movie.
some Jim Carrey face acting if I need to. So
Oh, forget Jim Carrey. Do Stephen face acting.
Oh, I will.
All right. And whenever you're ready here.
Okay.
This is extremely unusual, Mr. Ipkiss. Look, barging in without an appointment is just...
Look,
it's not...
You're the big expert on masks, right? Well, I've got an emergency here.
Okay, look, try to calm yourself down. Now, this woman you were telling me about, I'm not sure I understand the problem.
I got a date with the girl of my dreams, only she doesn't know it's me. It's this thing.
Very interesting. Looks like 10th or 11th century Scandinavian. Where did you get this?
I found it, or it found me. I'm not sure. The problem is it's ruining my life.
So you believe it actually changes you into a different person?
Yes. It's turning me into some kind of lunatic.
Mr. Ipkiss, look, please. It's just an obsessional dilemma. Okay, what you have here is nothing more than a piece of wood.
Yeah, but your book says masks.
Oh, look, my book uses masks as a metaphor. Okay, for our complex personalities. Okay, the mask we must present to the outside world to suppress, to protect our innermost desires.
Yeah, well, this one works in reverse.
Okay, you're gonna have to be willing, okay, to work on this delusion.
It's not a delusion. All right, I'll prove it to you if you have to, but I won't be responsible for the consequences.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. There's no such thing as a magical mask.
Last chance to hide all dangerous objects.
All right, go on then. You're not going to frighten me. What?
It didn't work.
Okay, does that surprise you? The mask is nothing but a reflection of you. Okay, the inner you.
It worked last night and the night before. Maybe it only works at night. What kind of mask did you say this was?
Scandinavian. It looks like a representation of Loki. Okay, the Norse god of mischief. He supposedly caused so much trouble that Odin banished him from Valhalla forever.
What if he banished him into the mask?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ipkiss, we're out of time.
But what should I do about my date?
Your date?
You know, tonight, the park, Tina. Do I go as myself or the mask?
Listen, Mr. Ipkiss, please, okay? Haven't you been listening to anything that I've said? Go as yourself, okay? And as the mask. Because they are one and the same beautiful person.
You know, it's so interesting for me to watch, good acting and actors who make choices, which you guys did, everybody come back, which you guys did really well. Roxana, I loved your therapist. I thought she was very interesting. I want to see her even more upset at the beginning.
Okay.
Keep talking. And Stephen, even if Roxana doesn't come in, all of you, if the person doesn't come in when they're supposed to, keep talking. Let them cut you off. Okay?
Yeah.
Stephen, again, note, do it several times. And the reason I say this is I'm trying to get you guys not to jump too quickly into scenes. In other words, nowhere does it say he only puts the mask on once. That's up to the actor to interpret. So you can have fun with it, Stephen. You can put it on, nothing happens. Try it again, nothing happens. I think the third time you'll get a big laugh when you make the fake noise as you shake your head. And that's what lets Roxana go, what is it? Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I want you guys, in every scene, you guys, there is a moment that is the actor's moment. It's the character's moment. And it's your choice to do what you want to do with it. Don't run away from it. Don't make it fast. Really work with it. That's what's going to capture and make you a star.
Okay.
Now, Roxana, you had a wonderful thing of being amused at all of, not all of it, but at some of it. And I think at the end, take your time and laugh before you say, we're out of time. I mean, this is a child you're speaking with. A child who's meeting a girl in the park at night in New York and wants to wear a mask. However, that said, if you are an expert, which you say you are, you know that masks can change someone's life big time. I had a friend, he's a very famous, he's got about 40 books out. He's called funnyman.com, David Rudnitsky. And he went to this African shop and bought all these dark African masks and Balinese masks. Well, because I know about masks, the African masks and the Balinese masks are made out of wood. And it's a heritage that's passed down from great-great-grandfather to grandfather to son to son's son. And there is a lot of negative energy. And he lined a whole hallway with them. And he called me up at 2 o'clock in the morning one night screaming, saying, I'm so scared something's happening in my house and it's frightening me. And it was the mask. I came over and we took down all the masks and I left and he was fine. You know, I saged the house and curried it. So masks tribally are known to change that which is within. So what you're saying is that whatever he thinks is happening to him, Roxy, is really already inside him. But you also know there's some magic to them. There is magic to masks. Maybe you don't believe so as a therapist, but
no, I love that. I think that'll add so much more depth to it, thinking about the maths, because I was just kind of thinking she's really full of herself for writing this book, and don't you know what my book said, and like, let me just tell you about masks. And I'm trying to explain it like to a child. That was the main thing I was going, but I love all the extra stuff that just added like a whole different level.
Well, I think it levels you because there might be a little point of fear that maybe something is happening that you as an academic don't want to face.
That's good.
I don't know, that's your choice. Stephen, you know something horrible is happening to you. And it's not good. You're spinning, you're jumping all over the place. You become this green monster or whatever it does to you. It is a modern take on an old movie called Walter Mitty. Anybody remember that? The Life of Walter Mitty. In fact, what's his name just did it recently again.
Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller, yes. And so what's inside you is this hero. What's inside you, Stephen, is this crazy person. Loki is the spirit of mischievous, just like Puka, my dog. And you must have that in you. And when you say, do you think that he banished him into this mask, there's got to be a big beat between the two of you here. Because he might be onto something that you've never thought of. And then you dismiss it because that's too crazy an idea. Good. That was excellent. All right, who's next?
Danny, would you like to go?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Ready?
Yep, ready when you are.
This is extremely unusual, Mr. Ipkiss, barging in without an appointment or...
Look, you're the big expert on masks, right? Well, I've got an emergency here.
Try to calm yourself. Now, this woman you're telling me about, I'm not sure I understand the problem.
I've got a date with the girl of my dreams, only she doesn't know it's me. It's this thing.
Very interesting. Looks like 10th or 11th century Scandinavian. Where did you get this?
I found it, or it found me. I'm not sure. The problem is, it's ruining my life.
So you believe this actually changes you into a different person?
Yes, it's turning me into some kind of a lunatic.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. This is just an obsessional delusion. What you have here is nothing more than a piece of wood.
But your book says that masks are...
The book says masks is a metaphor for our complex personalities. The masks we must present to the outside world to suppress the id, to protect our innermost desires.
Yeah, well, this mask works in reverse.
You're going to have to be willing to work on this delusion, or...
It's not a delusion, all right? I'll prove it to you if I have to, but I won't be responsible for the consequences.
Mr. Ipkiss, please, there's no such thing as a magical mask.
Last chance to hide all dangerous objects.
All right, then, go on. You're not going to frighten me. What?
It didn't work?
Does it surprise you? The mask is nothing but a reflection of you, the inner you.
It worked last night and the night before. Maybe it only works at night. What kind of mask did you say this was?
Scandinavian. It looks like a representation of the loci, of the Norse god of mischief. He supposedly caused so much trouble that Odin banished him to the Valhalla forever.
What if he banished him into a mask?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ipkiss, we're out of time.
But what should I do about my date?
Your date?
You know, tonight, the park, Tina? Do I go as myself or as the mask?
Mr. Ipkiss, please, haven't you been listening to anything I've been saying? Go as yourself and as the mask, because they are one and the same, beautiful person.
Okay, everybody come back. Interesting. You know, this is the first time I heard the line, Andy, which was really interesting, about that she thinks that this mask is me. I, for some reason, didn't hear it in the other ones. I think you played them really good. When I say 3 times, I mean something like this. Then put it back on. Mm-hmm. Even try harder. Take it off, look at it. Then put it back on. Okay? Mm-hmm. Danny, I'd like to see you go from being highly irritated with him at the beginning. Do not interrupt me. Don't come in. This is highly irregular. But you could, but then when Andy's so upset, you got to calm him, which will give you a scene break, a scene change. Also, you must keep talking even if Andy doesn't cut you off. And I find that for you, it would be a very funny character for you to play someone who's pontificating, you know, someone who thinks so highly of his book, so highly of his skills. Master, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just full of yourself. I think that would really be fun.
Okay.
But keep talking until he stops you.
Right.
Always, guys, when you see that someone is supposed to cut you off, if in a script, always think of a line that will keep you going in case they don't cut you off. Because otherwise, who looks stupid? Not them, you. Roxy, did you just cut your hair?
Roxanne? No, it's long.
Okay.
I'm cutting Thursday though. I'm gonna dye it blonde. Well, I'm getting a blonde balayage and then I'm gonna trim it.
I think it looked cute. I think it looked really cute trimmed.
Yeah, my ends.
No, I think shorter was really cute on you.
Oh, maybe.
Junka, I'm thinking I want to do this to my hair, but Royce says no.
Guys
anyway. Huh?
I said guys love long hair. I don't know what Alejandro would do if I mentioned cutting it short.
The thing is, mention it. Don't mention it. All right. So do you have your notes?
Mm-hmm.
Andy, good work. Even bigger, Andy. I want you to go even bigger.
Okay.
I know. I want you to get out of you and Steve have to get you out of your comfort zone. Danny, more irritated and more full of yourself. And keep talking. All right. So let's bring up Jennifer. Not me. Jennifer and Kenny. Kenneth. Kenneth, are you still alive? Uh-oh.
Maybe not.
Maybe he's in the bathroom. Kenneth. Let me check.
I can text him.
Is he he there?
No, I said I could text him.
I just text Jennifer saying I was in the bathroom.
Oh my bad.
Yeah.
And what did I just say, everybody? I said Kenneth went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You okay, Kenny? You're not throwing up, are you?
No. It's just my regular number. Número dos.
Okay. Here we go. Don't just read it, Kenneth.
Yeah. Let me find it. Okay. Don't tell me that judge is impartial. Every time I look up to him, I could just see him.
Quiet, please. Okay, it doesn't do any good if you don't. Just wait a minute. Just relax, okay?
I am relaxed.
No, you're not. I can feel.
So can I.
You can?
Wow. What are you doing?
Testing.
Oh, I thank you. Seems to me I need this more every year.
You're just aging fast, that's all.
You can say that again.
All right, I will. You're just aging fast, that's all.
Oh, and you're helping.
Done.
I thank you. There ought to be some news on the radio. Do you want to hear it?
If there's good news, then yes.
I'll do my best.
Well, why don't they have all the good news on one station and all the bad news on another station? Wouldn't that be great?
I got a station with the bad news.
It's getting awfully popular. Kip's song. I hear it everywhere.
Yeah, so do I. I hear sometimes even when it's not on the radio.
I don't know what that says.
What's the matter? Don't you want rock now? What are you sure about a little slap?
No.
Well, what then?
You meant that, didn't you? You really meant that.
Why? No.
Yes, you did. I can tell. I know your touch. I know a slap from a slug.
Well, okay.
I'm not so sure it is. I'm not so sure that I can expose myself to typical instinctual masculine brutality anymore. It's
come now.
Well, it felt as if, not only as though you meant it, but it felt as though you have no right to do it. I can tell.
What have you got back there? Radar equipment.
Well, you're really sore at me, aren't you?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Oh, ridiculous.
There, proves it.
All right. I'm sore. What about it?
Well, why are you?
You know why?
That's the end of page 3.
Okay, so this is Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy, and you were doing a really good job. I think, if I may comment, this needs some physical activity.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be giving him a massage,
so
but
that's what I would start, Jennifer.
Yeah, like I don't know how to.
Yeah, just like this, just and
Okay.
and Kenneth, you have to be moving with it. Help her out. Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Turn on some music. I loved you singing.
Well, I didn't know the words. I guess I'll just stick with that. I think it's in Spanish. I'm like, I don't know how to say that.
I loved it. I thought that was great. You don't understand something, make your own thing.
Okay.
Kenny,
yeah.
What you do is then it's her turn. You're rubbing her, and then you whack her.
Okay.
And where you whack her is on her ass. She's lying with a towel over her. So it's got to be rub, whack. Jennifer has got to react to it because A, it's not just a slap, it's a demeaning slap. He slaps your ass. I don't know about you, Jennifer, but if a man slaps my ass, he's no longer in my life. Seriously. He's like, come on, get along, little heifer. Come on, little cow, So I think for you, that's got to be a big beat.
Okay, yeah. There is supposed to be a beat there, but I was confused about the lyrics to the songs. It got confused, but I got it.
It's okay. That's why we're talking about it. It's you've got to just, Now, Kenny, do you know why you're upset?
Yeah, because the kid, so that's our neighbor, and he wrote a song about Amanda, which is my wife, and that song became so popular. And my wife, he called himself a good friend of us, but he always has a thing for my wife.
He does. And guess what? Who your wife is? Your wife is Woman of the Year.
Okay.
And she's loved by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But she's yours. You know?
Yeah.
So when you finally admit that you're angry, you got to come out angry.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have to really admit it. You are pissed and irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Which the next scene is pretty funny because she tries to prove that she can be a good housewife. Mm-hmm. She burns the toast. She burns the eggs. It's a nightmare. It's
Yeah.
just, and it's hysterical. It really is a funny scene. So those are my 2 comments. So help each other with this.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put you all in breakout rooms and then we're going to do it. I'm going to give you what, is 10 minutes good enough or is you want 7?
Either one.
What do you guys say? You're all there. What time is it? I don't know what time it is.
It's 9:30.
All right, so if I gave you 10 minutes, that'll give us plenty of time.
Okay.
You can all work on it, okay?
Okay.
Are you enjoying doing several scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's recreate. Hold on.
Bless you.
God bless you, honey.
Bless you.
All right, in room 1 is who did the first scene was Stephen and Roxana. You're going into room 1. Room 2 is Danny and Andy. And room 3 is Jennifer and Kenneth. I'm opening the rooms now, going in. Kenneth, get better. Stephen, you okay? Did you take your room, honey?
Yeah, I was just blowing my nose. Sorry about that.
Oh, are you still sick, sweetheart? The place or the singing group? Here we are. Okay, let's do it. All right, so Roxana, you're up first.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is extremely unusual. Mr. Ipkiss, barging in without an appointment is absolutely...
Look, you're the big expert on masks, right? Well, I've got an emergency here.
Okay, try to calm yourself. Now, this woman you were telling me about, I'm not sure I understand the problem.
I've got a date with the girl of my dreams, Oli. She doesn't know it's me. It's this thing.
Very interesting. It looks like 11th or 12th century Scandinavian. where did you get that?
I found it, or it found me. I'm not sure. The problem is it's ruining my life.
So you believe that this actually changes you into a different person?
Yes, it's turning me into some kind of lunatic.
But Mr. Ipkiss, please, okay? This was just an obsessional delusion, okay? What you have here is nothing more than a piece of wood.
But your book says masks, they change people, and
look, my book uses masks as a metaphor for our complex personalities. Look, the masks we present to the outside world to suppress the id, to protect our innermost desires.
Yeah, well, this does that in reverse.
Okay, you're gonna have to be willing to work on the delusions if you want to move
It's
forward.
not a delusion. All right, I'll prove it to you if I have to, but I won't be responsible for the consequences.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. Like, there's no such thing as a magical mask.
Last chance to hide all dangerous objects.
All right, then go ahead. Look, you're not gonna frighten me. What?
It didn't work.
Does that surprise you? Like, the mask is nothing but a reflection of you, the inner you.
It worked last night and the night before. Maybe it only works at night. What kind of mask did you say this was?
Scandinavian. It looks like one of those Loki. No, that's the Norse god of mischief. So he supposedly caused so much trouble that Odin kicked him out of Valhalla forever.
But what if he banished him into the mask?
Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Ipkiss. We're out of time.
What should I do about my date?
Your date?
You know, tonight, the park, Tina. Should I go as myself or the mask?
Look, Mr. Ipkiss, please. Okay. Haven't you been listening to anything I've been saying? You need to go as yourself and the mask, because they are one and the same. Beautiful person.
That was so good. You know, I really love that beat that you took, Roxana, thinking about the mask and then saying you're out of time. Totally made sense that time.
Okay, thank you.
You know what I mean? It made sense that you didn't have an answer for it. So we're through now. That was great moment. Remember, there's always a moment in each character's scene where it's your moment. Your moment, Stephen, had me totally cracking up. That was so funny. You built so perfectly to that last and third one with your hair flying and everything going. It happens. It was, and it helped her. You know, it was so perfect. Really funny. Did you hear me laughing? I was cracking up.
I did, yeah.
It was so funny. How did you guys see everybody come back? How'd you feel?
Oh, I mean, it was, you know what? I really liked the darker aspect that you mentioned to bring into it. Because the first time I really felt like I was one-dimensional. And this time I could bring in a little bit about the, like you know, when he comes in and he says I'm an expert, it immediately warms me up, where I'm just like, because first I'm like, you can't just come in here, and then he's like, but you're the expert, and it's like, well, go on. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. You're right, I am.
Yeah, it's like, well, I am the one that can help. Well, let's be honest. And then he like starts doing all of this stuff. But it was fun when you started mentioning the dark side, because he's saying all this stuff, and I could feel in my head it start clicking that, oh my God, maybe that's, I remember researching that. No. You need to help him.
No, it was great. And it really paid off when you said we're out of time. Because because the beat before, did you guys see? It was like, oh, he could be right. Well, we're out of time because you're going to research it. The minute he walks out, you're going to be going through books, checking it out. Could this happen? It was great. Really good work. Stephen, great work. Real happy with it. Any comments from you guys?
I love the way your hair, when you covered your mask the third time.
I got a lot of hair
flying everywhere, man.
But I mean, you were really going fast. I actually thought it was going to take possession of you. And then he stopped, and it's like it didn't happen. It was so good. It was really good, Stephen. Very funny. Yeah, you're very welcome. Really good work. All right, next, are we doing Danny? And yes.
I think so.
I mean, each one has been so different each time. It's so interesting.
This is extremely unusual, Mr. Ipkiss, barging in without an appointment or even a phone call.
Look, you're the big expert on masks, right? Well, I've got an emergency here.
Try to calm yourself. Now, this woman you're telling me about, I'm not sure if I understand the problem.
I've got a date with the girl of my dreams. Only she doesn't know it's me. It's this thing.
Very interesting. Looks like 10th or 11th century Scandinavian. Where did you get this?
I found it, or it found me. I'm not sure. The problem is, it's ruining my life.
So, you believe this actually changes you into a different person?
Yes. It's turning me into some kind of a lunatic.
Mr. Ipkiss, please. This is just an obsessional delusion. What we have here is nothing more than a piece of wood.
But your book says that masks
My book uses masks as a metaphor for our complex personalities. The masks we must present to the outside world to suppress the id, to protect our innermost desires.
Yeah, well, this one works in reverse.
You're going to have to be willing to work on this delusion, or I'm not
It's not a delusion. It's not a delusion, all right? I'll prove it to you if I have to, but I won't be responsible for the consequences.
Mr. Ipkiss, please, there's no such thing as a magical mask.
Last chance to hide all dangerous objects.
All right. Go on. You're not going to frighten me. What?
It didn't work?
Does that surprise you? The mask is nothing more than a reflection of the inner you.
It worked last night and the night before. Maybe it only works at night. What kind of mask did you say this was?
Scandinavian. It looks like a representation of the Loki, the Norse god of mischief. He supposedly caused so much trouble that Odin banished him to Valhalla forever.
What if he banished him into a mask?
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
But what about my date?
Your date?
Yeah, tonight in the park. Tina, do I go as myself or as the mask?
Miss Rifkus, please, haven't you been listening to anything I've been saying? Go as yourself and the mask, because they are one and the same. Beautiful person.
Oh, God. Oh, that was funny, you guys. Very fun. So, everybody come back. Danny, great voice. Funny, funny voice. But the mouth was a little cartoony. I don't know why.
Poking my jaw out.
Well, it was more staged than real. So I'm just going to ask you this. Do your voice now without the mouth. Just do the voice.
Okay.
Just ask Danny. Just do the voice.
Okay.
This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. Without the face. I'm doing the voice without the face. Is that
Keep going.
more?
Keep going. Just a little bit more.
Do
it a little bit less. Do it a little bit less.
I still want to poke my lower jaw out.
That's it.
Trying to relax.
That's it.
My face.
See, that's much more real for TV and movie.
Okay.
But when the mouth is like that, it was just a little too much. But the way you just did it now, could you feel the difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was really good. Both of you, very funny. I loved your attitude, Danny. I loved the character. Funny, funny, funny. And Andy, you were hysterical. I mean, you really cracked me up with your madness. Especially with, do you think that maybe he put it in the mask? That was so fucking funny.
I was telling Danny that his because his character is kind of so inside his head and pontificating that it makes me want to work that much harder to kind of get him to listen to me and pay attention. So it helped.
Reaction. This is what this is about. We have to start working with that now. And Danny was really making you react. It was brilliant. And you were reacting perfectly. And Danny, you being more pompous made him even more crazy. It was so good. Do you see what I'm talking about? Action, reaction. So good. All right, Kenny and Jennifer.
Al, don't tell me the judge is impartial. Every time I look at him, I can see him.
Quiet, please. Okay, it doesn't do you any good if you don't just wait a minute and relax.
I am relaxed.
Jennifer and Kenneth, show with your shoulders that she's massaging you.
Okay.
You know, it just, oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And start again. Here we go.
Well, don't tell me the judge is impartial. Every time I look up at him, I can see him.
Just quiet, please. Okay, it doesn't do you any good if you don't. Just wait a minute and relax.
I am relaxed.
No, you're not. I can feel.
So can I.
You can?
Oh, what are you doing?
Testing.
Oh, I thank you. Seems to me I need this more every year.
Well, you're just aging fast, that's all.
You can say that again.
All right, I will. You're aging fast, that's all.
And you're helping.
All right, you're done.
Thank you, I think. There ought to be some good news on the radio. Do you want to hear it?
Well, if there's good news, yeah. Why don't they have all the good news on one station and then all the bad news on another station? Now, wouldn't that be so great?
Well, I got the station with the bad news.
Oh, that's getting awfully popular, isn't it? Kip's song, I just hear it everywhere I go now.
Yeah. Hey. What? What's the matter? Don't you want to rap now? What? Are you sort of a little slap?
No.
Well, what then?
Well, you meant that, didn't you? You really meant that.
Why? No.
Yes, you did. I know your touch, and I know a slap from a slug.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm not so sure that it is. I'm not so sure that I can expose myself to typical instinctive masculine brutality anymore. And
oh, come on now.
No. It not only felt as if you meant it, it felt like you had a right to do it. I can tell.
What have you got back there? A radar equipment?
Well, you're really sore at me, aren't you?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Well, ridiculous.
There, that proves it.
All right. I'm sore. What about it?
Why are you?
You know why.
You mean Kip? Just because he's having a little fun.
Oh, that was so good. Kenny, you just rose. You rose up to a level that's even better than before.
Oh, thank you.
You did it while you were sick. I'm so proud of you. Everybody come back. Really good work, Kenny.
Ooh.
Funny, very funny, and really good. It was all coordinated, funny, was perfect. And Jenny, I'm telling you, you were magnificent, especially when he slapped you.
Uh-huh.
And just the way you reacted, and gosh, I'm kind of proud of all you. You're really starting to like get there, be there, are there. Just beautiful work. And what do you guys think? Have we lost Stephen? Is Stephen gone?
He's probably tired.
Poor guy. Well, you all did great work. So do you like doing it? Yeah, because I'll send a couple more different scripts and we'll change it around next week. Did you like this? Sure. Yeah. There's Stephen.
This was fun.
I am tired. I was not gone. I was just in the bathroom.
You guys are making me laugh tonight. Funny. So should I do this again next week, you think?
Yeah.
This was fun.
Please let me know next week if you want to stay, if we want to take a break for a week, or if you're staying, let me know, because if so, I've got to know. Okay?
Okay.
All right, kiddos, get some sleep, be well, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.